Welcome to our Boeing 787 headed out to Victoria Airport. The flight plan is wild. About first. So this is our plane here, and that's our passenger. So first, that's So I do kind of cheat, and I get it to tell me how to navigate through the airport. Ordinarily, I would have no idea what.
Edmonton ground, Canadian, Western Niner 24 taxi to parking.
Canadian Western Niner 24 taxi to general aviation, parking by taxiway Alpha.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha Canadian Western Niner 24.
So you can hear we have other traffic with it. However, it doesn't sound like they're going to be in our way at all. We should be fine. Instead, we're just going to follow the taxiway out. Slowly, taxiway, or like out to Victoria. Basically, I'm going to show you the takeoff, landing, and maybe a little bit of stuff in the middle. However, for the most part, we're just going to fly. It's boring. We're just going to follow our route. What we've done also is I've set up my autopilot so that once we take off, it'll take us up to 8,000 feet and a speed of 250 knots indicated airspeed. And once we get cruising a little bit, what I'll do is I'll turn on our lateral navigation, start to follow this purple further all the way up to Victoria Airport. We're a ways off there yet, though. Right now, we're just focused on getting ourselves down this taxiway. Really technical. So to start off, start by taxiing our way down to the runway. So pressure today is 20.90 inches of mercury, and wind is 22 knots coming from the north, with a temperature of -12 degrees. So at this point, we'll just get up and your seatbelts on and strap in for the ride. So the cool thing about this aircraft is it does have pretty cool mapping. So it gives us a real-time map of the airport. So following air traffic control instructions. We're going to do a turn here. And just in case you were wondering, this is a cargo flight carrying 30,000 kilograms of supplies to BC. So right now we're passing Edmonton International Airport main terminal. Glory. It's pretty quiet. There was one plane. Rolling on. At the moment I am driving by throttling the engine slightly and then using the rudder to turn the landing gear wheel on the speed. So, as you can see, we are flying to runway 30. It's a long way up. Up we go on the voyage. So as you can see, right now we are here on the airport. You can see this is the runway that we want to use. So we are headed right up. What's the cooperate? Nothing. Let's head right up to the top of the runway here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and connect back to you when we get to the top of the runway. So, since I last spoke to you, our flight level was increased to 32,000 feet, so we're just climbing up right now. grabbing my attention is this weather storm, so I want to prepare for that. And what's concerning me is my engine is currently riding at 90%. What I'm actually going to do is bring our speed back to 50. And the other thing is we're also heading above 30,000 feet, which means we want to move away from indicated airspeed, which relative to ground and becomes somewhat useless at that altitude, and head over to Mach units, which are more jet-based measurement, and a little bit more accurate when you get the high off the ground. As you can see, we're kind of on our route plan here, and then we are headed towards the weather. I've reduced our speed a wee bit, but we don't seem to have much reduction in the engine. You do notice they are flying at different rates, which tells me that we're doing for crosswind. Being said, it's minus 52 degrees Celsius outside, and our oil is doing well. Our engine is, they are doing well. They seem to be operating slightly differently. It being said, they are both matched well. This is the left side of the craft and the right side, and one is your intake rev and two is your exhaust rev. There you can see we start to level off and through, so our engines are starting to scale back.
Ice 9112 tree climb and maintain flight level 400.
That being said, as you just heard, we are going higher because air traffic control wants to you up to 40,000.
Climb and maintain flight level 400, Ice 9112 tree.
So we're going to cruise up a little bit, and I'll show you guys a little bit. Okay, so the other thing to show you is a neat little heads-up display feature with this aircraft. You drop the screen down, and basically it kind of gives you different info from here. Software here. It's not quite kind of it does repeat from primary flight display. For whatever reason, it's not showing in full display. Glitch and like over there. Well, don't need it for a while. Here we are. We're still climbing up the height. And as you can see, it's starting to give us a current here. So here we are. We're just it doesn't start leveling off at our cruising altitude. What we're going to do is now that we're back to cruising at altitude, and start speed again. I recommend increasing speed to alcohol altitude, and not as seen here when we're at flight level 400. Speed is because you see that the engine here is a bit longer. There you have it. said, we are heading to bad weather. Alright. Wait for it to hit our cruise now. Start to see engines take off a little bit. We are pitches decreasing. We're getting closer to our target. We're a little bit down. Probably saw the horizon. Well, starting to level off. Get one here. Here we go. So I gave up with the weather storm and pressure. We weren't really able to get up to the max we want, so we just slacked off a little bit. And you can see that the engines are starting to come down to a lower idle now. That being said, -5 and it's operating at minus. So all in all, we're not bad. We're gonna keep cruising along the route. Actually, we're continuing now. We're not quite there yet, but we're well on our way to our route. I see that 200 nautical miles. So we get to our buzz marker, which is on the right here. Start to take really long markers. So we arrive at the airport. So I'll expect to go back to the first class lounge and oh wait, you're on a cargo flight. Get back actually I can show you where you sit. You have a little seat, other thing. What I really need is some lights on in this place. Perfect. There you go. So that's the door out to the main area, and these are your choice of these two hot seats behind us. So sit back, enjoy the ride. And like they're awful intimidating. See you in a bit.
Descend and maintain flight level 300 ice 9112 tree.
Alright, so you missed the original request that a request came in to return to flight level 300, 30,000 feet. So I've dialed it in, hit flight tune. As we descend, it's really important to do that. Because we don't want the plane overheating. So we're passing to our next marker. Plane is adjusting course. And meanwhile, you can see we are beginning our quick little update if we begin our descent. It's like a micro descent. It's not normally on airplanes we feel this. Anyway, I'll check back in with you a little later on our approach. Alrighty, so to give you a quick update, we're about 78 minutes into our flight. We're currently at 30,000 feet, and we've just been told by air traffic control to descend to 18,000. As we're beginning approach, I have reduced the speed to 250 knots. It's going to make it a little bit more manageable as we do maneuvers and give us a little bit more time to organize our approach as we get closer. So right now there's still not much to look at. We're on our route, we're descending, and I'll check in with you next when we get our landing clearance, our approach clearance.
500 feet. Expect localizer runway 27 approach via Yankee Juliet transition. Cleared to Yankee Juliet.
Descend and maintain 3,500 feet. Expect localizer runway 27 approach via Yankee Juliet transition. Cleared to Yankee Juliet ice 9112 tree.
Alright, so well, we've got our approach vector, which is telling me that there we go. So we've got our approach. So we're descending to 3,500 feet, which we should probably, for some reason it's not activating. There we go, we're starting to descend now.
Ice 91123. Please expedite your descent. 3,500 feet.
So for whatever reason, we're up flying a big circle at the moment. I don't really know why. Other than it seems to be a problem that I'm still trying to figure out why it does this, but for whatever reason it starts flying in circles when we get our approach vector. So what I'm going to do is just wait to see if what it's actually doing is trying to resync that AC there. And what we'll see if that helps without any. We're doing a controlled speed descent at 225 knots, descending from 1,500 feet to 3,500. And again, just waiting to see if the airplane is looking to localize with our latest waypoint there. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I feel like it shouldn't be doing a big circle every time it wants to link up with its planned route. Well, let's see if we can figure that out, though. More to follow as we proceed. So right now it's straightened out, so I hope that it's just going to fly straight and hit that pink line. If it doesn't, then it's going to be doing a manual flight. But just in case it's not, what I'm going to do is adjust my setting gauge on that direction, so that if it doesn't turn us, I can at least override it, direct it to turn us. But sure enough, it looks like it's still flying its course and is preparing to
Vancouver Center, Skywest 5689er is at 10,400 feet, descending 3,000 feet.
Oh,
Skywest 5689er, Vancouver Center, QNH 29.907, continue to copy as planned.
So as we're doing an approach now, I'm going to start doing things to prep for landing. The more I do now, the less I have to do later. So auto brakes will control the wheel brakes as they come on. So I'm going to auto arm them right now for a medium brake. Basically, the second the wheels feel themselves hit the ground, they're going to activate brakes and help slow the plane down. I'm going to lower my flaps a little bit. So I'm going to put 1 degree of flap on right now. Activating a flap disturbs the wing pattern a little bit so that you can fly at slower speeds a little bit more stably. It kind of compensates for the lower speed by changing the way the air flows over the wing. So stay tuned.
Skywest 5689er,
I'm a
contact
little bit
Vancouver approach
concerned that
on
once it
120
flies
decimal
down
8.
at 3,500
Good day.
feet, my concern obviously is that I hit some ground. The problem is I'm
120.8 for
Yeah, I
Sky
like
West
to
5,
see
6,
ground
8, 9er.
until I hit it because it's dark out. And as you can hear, there is traffic in the area. Obviously, it's way too far out for me to escape the speed. But more to follow.
Vancouver Center, Sky West 5, 6, 8, 9er is passing 10,000 feet, descending 3,000 feet.
What's the
Sky
break
West
now?
5, 6, 8, 9er Vancouver Center QNH 29.97 continue to copy as planned. Sky West 5, 6, 8, 9er contact Vancouver approach on 120.8. Good day.
So basically what our route's getting us to do is, you can see,
120.8
this is
Sky
our
West 5,
airport
6,
here.
8,
So what
9er.
it's going to get us to do is fly over the airport. And then basically it's going to get us to do a loop to fly back in. With the wind today, that is super important. So basically we'll be landing into the wind. Basically the wind is following this arrow going this way, and we're going to be landing going this way, landing into the wind. The wind will help slow us down immensely, but it can make for a bumpy landing. So it's an unusual way to land. Usually you try to land on the takeoff in the direction of the wind. A little bit interesting. We'll see how the landing goes. Anyway, I'm going to zone out for a bit and check in with you guys when we get a little bit closer to landing. We're still a ways out. We still got to fly our approach a little bit longer. So when we get a little bit closer to actually landing towards the airport, I'll check back in with you. Alright, so it's just a small thing, but I've been updated with our local barometer. Obviously, as we get close to the ground, we want to sync with the ground. So right now, this is our, what we want to be able to do is sync this to what the ATC said it was, to 9er 9er 7. Basically, the pressure reading on the ground, we want to match with the airplane to make sure everything is accurate. We just updated that. That being said, while I've done that, the plane's gone off and done some weird little loopy thing. I have no idea what it's doing. I have an awful feeling it's trying to hit the localizer. Alright, I'll check back in with you a little later on the approach. Yeah, it's been like 5 seconds. Yeah, so the mistake I made and why the plane was doing its own thing was I told it to intercept the localizer too early when I still wanted to follow the route it's currently on. So going this far off route, I might have screwed things up. We're going to be interesting flight. Basically, the localizer is a special beacon that I think it's laser based. That shoots off a runway, and it's some sort of RF signature that tells you how to line up with a runway, and that's what these two diagonal beacons are trying to do. Is basically they're trying to tell me how to find the glide slope and the correct way I need to be turning to be able to get straight into the runway. Super helpful when you can't necessarily see the runway. Which in our conditions could well be a problem, given visibility is only 5 miles and of course it's flat. So being able to use instruments to help us find our glide slope and line up straight to the runway is super important. And basically, when I programmed this guy right here with all this information, it programmed it with the ILS frequency of approach, which is what's programming this localizer. You can see this diamond starting to line up with our center point, which is telling me we're starting to intercept the glide slope. And sure enough, this is moving, telling me the runway is straight this way. Fortunately, we're still just going to do this loop here yet. We go past it. And re-intercept it later. Of course, because we're going away from it, this will get skewy. We'll ignore it for a little bit. basically what we're going to do is we're going to continue this loop here, and I will check in with you pretty quickly here when we start to clear the loop, or when ATC gives us new information. Anyway, I'll see you in like 2 or 3 minutes. Alright, so here we are. We're pretty quickly lining up on our runway here, and I can't see any signs of the airport yet. Instead, we'll continue our loop and it's get a little bit closer. Right now, air traffic control is only giving us 5 kilometers visibility, and the airport is still yeah, getting pretty close. We're not quite there yet. Either way, we're in line with it, so I am going to switch over to that localizer now, and basically have it track the runway, not the route anymore. Instead, we have to maintain this altitude until air traffic control gives us clearance to land. And once they give us clearance to land, trust your instruments, right? Like we're off route, but trust your instruments to know where they're going.
Ice 9112 you are 14 miles east of Victoria. Contact tower on 119.7 when inbound on the approach.
Alright, so things are getting interesting. So, yeah, we have
tower on
clearance.
119.7 Ice 9112.
Basically, they've transferred us from the from towers to the actual approach tower for the airport. So we're going to contact the tower,
Tower
let
Ice
them know we're on
9112 12 miles east inbound localizer runway 27 approach.
Ice 9112 tower. QNH 29.999 wind 134 at 8. Cleared localizer runway 27 approach.
Cleared localizer runway 27 approach Ice 9112.
Alright, so we've been cleared to land on the approach, so we're all lined up. I've switched this from localizer to approach, which basically start adjusting our altitude too. So you can see we're on the glide slope. We've got a nice straight glide slope. We're in line. You also heard the wind is 8 knots, which is makes for an interesting side wind. Now that being said, we're going a little closer. I'm gonna lower my flaps another degree, and as you can see in doing that, my max airspeed's been reduced. I'm not loving the fact that it's pitch black out. That being said, we are on final approach. So I'm going to turn my landing gear on.
Ice 9112 wind 124 at 8. Cleared to land runway 27.
Alright, good. So we are cleared to land. So that gives us final
Cleared to land
authorization.
runway 27 Ice 9112
Continue on and land on the runway. I've never done an approach with this limited of visibility before. I don't really know what to expect. I'm really reliant on my instruments. That being said, with a bit of luck, everything's lined up. My lights are on, my flaps are down. I'm lowering the landing gear now. And there we have it, folks. We can see the runway. Alright, this is good. So basically, I'm going to let the instruments fly us in a little closer. When we get just above, I'll remove the autopilot and bring us in for a land. So for now, we're still hitting the glide slope really nicely. So I'm making sure we're still on the glide slope and that the glide slope looks good for what I want. So, coming a little fast, I'm going to put the speed brakes on a little bit. And our approach is still good, but we are coming in super quick. Alright, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to kill our autopilot,
100,
and as we come in,
50, 40,
now we're coming in super
30,
fast.
20,
Into a
10,
flare. And we're going to hope that we can slow it down. Oh yeah, we came in too fast. There goes the runway.
Ice 9112 tree contact ground on 121.9er.
We do have a problem here. This will be a crash.